Classic Jamie.
Classic Jamie.
Welcome to Final Verdict. I'm Bell.
I'm Jamie.
I'm Plouffe.
And this is Jamie's pick.
This is Jamie's pick.
I almost said Plouffe. I almost messed up.
No, that's next
Plouffe
week.
would never pick this album because Plouffe was
We're starting
so
with this negative
incensed. Plouffe was so upset. I wish I could show these texts that we got from Plouffe. Plouffe was just like ready.
If you're watching on Spotify, you could check that. No, I'm just kidding.
In all fairness,
Plouffe was like, let me finish my story, Plouffe. This made me very upset that one day. Plouffe was like, oh, guys, if this is what your definition of fun is, I don't want to have fun anymore. And we were like, Plouffe, who pooped in your Cheerios, dude? Oh, boy, the album is too long. The album is very long. Anyway, this week we're listening to The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway.
Hour and a half.
At Final Verdict.
It's an hour and a half. And then, what happened then, I stayed up late to finish because I thought,
he was
I'll start this at like 8 o'clock. And you know what? I didn't finish until like 10 p.m., which is late for me. And then I come in the next day and I hear, I didn't make notes for Genesis. Can we not do that tonight?
Why don't you just pull a Bell move and go, it's too long. I'm not going to make notes tonight.
Oh, my God.
And we pushed it a week because I was like, I can't do it. I didn't want to stay up till 10 p.m. or like 11
I hear you.
So I was just like, no, boys, we're pushing.
I wish I didn't.
We had just come off a 3-day weekend, and I had recorded, made all my notes within that 3-day weekend because I used my time wisely.
Sorry, I have plans.
I didn't realize it was an hour and a half until I went down.
I told you multiple times. It's in the last episode for the. Anyway, this album was picked. Thanks for listening into this podcast. Thanks for listening to this argument.
I listened to everything twice because I had to listen to it in person, then I edited it. So I've heard it twice. Okay. Still didn't comprehend it's an hour and a half.
Okay, anyway, this album was picked from a poll on my Twitter, which is now called X account. 44 of you said you should make them listen to Not Selling England by the Pound, which is the album before that.
How long is that one?
40 minutes.
Wow. Too bad.
And Not A Trick of the Tail, which is the album after this one.
Yeah.
Which is about 48 minutes long. It's a good album, too. And don't make them listen to any other Genesis album. Make them listen to The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway.
Which is a concept album about Rael, some kid in New York.
Some guy in New York who sees a lamb lying down and has a profound experience where he's transported to him.
Yeah.
And has to experience his fears and overcome himself.
Apparently the lyrics were intentionally confusing and difficult to follow, is what I read.
Yes.
That makes sense, because sometimes it's like, okay, this is pretty clear, and then sometimes it's like, what the hell is this guy talking about?
So there's a number of flashbacks, flash forwards, some events that are improbable. And then at the end, it is left opaque whether he lives or dies.
Perfect.
Anyway.
Yeah, I've never listened to Genesis before, and I know that's hard to believe. Every Jamie pick is the same. But
I knew Bell was going to say this.
I don't think I've even heard of Genesis.
Phil Collins, isn't it?
Phil Collins.
That's Genesis.
No, that's
the Jeopardy theme song.
No, that's Phil Collins.
Oh, really? That's not Genesis. That's Phil Collins.
Yeah. No, Land of Confusion, which was covered by Disturbed, is a Genesis song.
Well, anyways, I was pleasantly surprised. It's definitely a long album, and I was not looking forward to it. I didn't follow the story at all, though, and maybe that's why I enjoyed it more. I was just like, I give up.
Probably.
It's too obtuse.
Yep.
I'm just going to listen to the music.
You made the right choice.
So my notes, like, none of them are going to be about lyrics, because I was just like, I don't get it.
Yep.
It's just too confusing.
Hold on. This is something we don't normally do, because we talk about the record itself at the... and we're going to do it anyway. The middle of the record, the liner notes, is just... Is explaining the story of this album. The
font is tiny.
It is so small.
There's like 1,000
words.
It
is the entire story written down here. Does it make any sense? I read the liner notes. I made some notes based on the liner notes. I still have no idea what the story is about in certain parts.
So the reason that I got so mad about having to listen to an album this long, part of it, is because I don't know if I don't like the second half because it's bad, or because I was just done at that point. Because I actually really liked the first half.
Yeah, first half's pretty good.
I love a lot of like songs bleeding into each other and stuff. I like prog rock. Mm-hmm. Some of the choruses are fantastic. A lot of the instrumentation across the whole thing is great.
Yeah.
So I went into this feeling so good. And then after like 45, 50 minutes, I was like, okay, where's this going? And then it just kept going.
I will say the payoff to this album is not great.
No, and that was the worst part. I got to the end and I was like, Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
So Genesis was famous for doing very elaborate stage shows during the Peter Gabriel era. He would come on various costumes, like very elaborate costumes,
Dang.
stage stuff. This album, according to the band, was devised to differentiate them from other prog rock bands.
I don't see how it does.
So there was many prior to this. There were many comparisons to the band Yes.
Sure. I don't really like Yes.
I don't really like Yes either, and I don't really see the comparison.
Yeah.
But the English music press said that they were just trying to be a Yes alike,
Okay.
which was
I don't see it at
I don't
all.
think so
Yeah.
either. But they said they wanted to try something interesting, and Peter Gabriel proposed a thing and said he would write all the lyrics, and then he buggered off to America for like 7 months, and then missed all his lyric writing deadlines except for a few, and then some of the lyrics like are kind of hodgepodge together. And the band kind of wrote the music, and then they wrote lyrics to go along with it.
Classic.
So I don't know. It's about a guy named Rael. He sees a lamb,
Yep.
and then he has a profound experience.
He sure does.
Let's get into it. Actually, did I have some notes?
This is one of the few times where I don't want to listen to this one last time before we do this, because it's an hour and a half.
I'm not going to suggest
Okay.
that we do that, but so anyway, this is the end of the Peter Gabriel era of the band. After this, Phil Collins becomes the lead singer. Steve Hackett, who is the guitarist, leaves after their next album. Their next album after A Trick of the Tail is called And Then There Were Three, or Then There Were Four. And then they reunited in 1981 for a benefit concert called Five of the Best.
Wow.
It was really good. Anyway, the Peter Gabriel is a strong vocalist with some very good range.
Sure.
Phil Collins sings background, and he sings like on some of the tracks, like as a co-singer. You could tell that they have a similar vocal range, and that's what they went on for the rest of the time. But Phil Collins was the drummer. He keeps excellent time. His drum work is very good on this album.
Yeah, he's a good drummer in general.
Tony Banks is the keyboardist, and he does a lot of work with synthesizers and different instrumentation on this album. Keyboards, piano.
Mm-hmm.
Very good pianist. And then, oh God, I can never remember his name. Mike Rutherford is the bass player. And there you go. There's Genesis. Let's get into it. Let's not listen to it a second time.
All right. Well, no, we're gonna listen to it one last time.
On Broadway, I'm still Rael, and I'm stuck in some kind of cave. What could have saved me? Cuckoo, cocoon, have I come to do something for you? Keep there, call us. We gotta get in to get out.
The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, the title track.
Yeah, so what does that mean? Does it mean anything?
The
It just
lamb
literally
is
means-
lying down on Broadway.
It
Rael
literally means
sees
that?
one.
So
That's crazy.
Rael comes out of a theater which he's been sleeping in all night. So there was this thing on Broadway Street in sort of near Times Square where there was all these like 24-hour theaters. If you want to see how Broadway looked in the 70s, just watch the movie Taxi Driver.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so he comes out of a theater that's been playing movies all night, and you could pay to watch movies all night instead of going somewhere. And out of the steam coming out of the sewer grates is a lamb lying down, but no one else seems to notice it except for him. And
Purpose
then,
is not real.
so it's probably not real. Yeah, it's probably
like,
not
is it
real.
a
Or
metaphor,
is it a
really?
metaphor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's purposefully obtuse.
It's
the liner-
ASAP Rock again.
Yeah, but not that obtuse. From the liner notes, it says, "Meanwhile, out of the steam, the lamb lies down. The lamb has nothing whatsoever to do with Rael or any other lamb. It just lies down on Broadway."
Wow.
That's the actual liner
And
note.
that's what the chorus. That's what the chorus is. The lamb lies down on Broadway. Like I like the.
Yeah.
it's a good song.
It's catchy.
And That's what kills me.
It's just really long.
Yeah, it's pretty long.
And then it describes what Rael had been doing. He's sleeping cheaply in the midnight shows.
Yeah.
He's a spray can.
And he's like a street punk.
Yeah.
The liner notes give more information on Rael. He's just some street kid who's in a gang.
Yeah.
His one fear he has a fear of being killed. He has a fear of being falling in love. He has a fear of like being loved and
Poor
stuff
Rael.
like that. Yeah, he's like so he's got some things to overcome. Next we get into Fly on a Windshield.
Yeah, weird little interlude
Yeah.
that just like drops a bunch of exposition and ends. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Spooky dust.
So he gets out of the theater, sees the lamb, and then a wall of dust that no one else notices comes towards him, and
Yeah.
the wall of dust is shaped like a movie screen.
Yeah.
And then it envelops him and transports him to a magical, like bizarro world.
Yeah.
And then, but the build up to the instrumental,
okay.
the drop on this song is so
Look.
good.
The beginning sucks, but when it picks up halfway through,
Like the solo.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then the second half of it, incredible. Sure. Like, I really liked a lot of these tracks, at least like half of them or whatever, because there is a lot of like, going from one to the other. There's some hangover. But yeah, the second half of the song is great. It's fantastic.
Yeah, the build up and then the instrumental part.
Yeah.
Very interesting. It's very loud too if you
Yeah.
listen to it on LP.
It's fun. It's just a little boring to me. It's just like, especially this early on, I'm like, okay, there's this big epic thing that's happening.
Yeah.
Prog rock,
But,
baby.
it's like, okay,
Yeah.
sure. I think if this happened later in the story when there's like what feels like more stakes and more things are
Sure.
happening. But
Yeah.
like right off the bat, I'm like, okay.
So then we get into Broadway Melody of 1974. It's a reference to the movie Broadway Melody of 1929.
This one's probably my favorite on the whole album.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yeah.
I like this one too.
It's short and tight. I love the reference to Marshall McLuhan, Mr. Mass.
famous Canadian.
Yeah, Mr. Mass Media himself.
The medium is the message.
That's right. Yeah,
that's a
very
great-
very
yeah.
Canadian line. And yeah, the lyrics are pretty cool.
The previous song segues into this.
Yeah,
one.
it's smoothly. So if you just listen to the song, you have like a weird like in between.
Yeah.
It also is weird because it just kind of like lists things.
Yeah.
It's just like a
he's-
bullet point list of things.
He's looking. So he's in the bizarro world, New York, which is also a swamp with. So he says, "I'm on the Broadway Everglades." So he's in the.
right.
He's been transported to a world where New York is a swamp.
Which I mean, kind of is.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, I guess so. Brooklyn was built on a marsh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, or is that Manhattan? Excuse me, it was
Manhattan,
built on
yeah.
a marsh. Yeah. So Rael wakes up in an imaginary New York where various public figures are present and things are happening. I thought there was an interesting one. So he mentions a cheerleader with like cyanide.
Oh yeah, so a lot of this is like it's like a good and bad, or there's a dichotomy going on.
Yeah, like polar opposites.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But they mentioned someone named Carol Chessman.
I didn't get that reference.
Carol
I didn't
Chessman
look it
was
up.
the first person executed by hydrogen cyanide.
Oh, crazy.
I had to look that up, but
Yeah.
that's like a really deep cut.
Yeah.
But it juxtaposes Carol Chessman with the Klan.
Yep.
The Klan is selling like soul food, which
Yeah.
is like a thing that wouldn't happen,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah, they're trying to just do weird like negative like Polaroid negative kind of things.
Yeah.
Picture negatives.
yeah, and then the song ends with needles and pins,
Yeah.
which is a reference to the song Needles and Pins.
Needles and pins.
Needles and Pins is a good song.
Yeah, that one's okay.
And then actually, The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway ends with the repetition of On Broadway,
Yeah.
which is a reference to the song On Broadway by the Drifters. Anyway, did you have any thoughts on this other than carrying on?
None. It's just it's a song. They list a bunch of stuff, and then the next song is good.
Cuckoo Cocoon?
He wakes up in a cave.
Yeah.
I really
thought
like
he
the
was
song,
in like a
actually.
mental hospital or something.
The liner notes say he wakes up in a cave, but
Cool.
he's like weirdly comforted by this like aura around him.
All right, I'll trust the liner notes.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's more mellow.
I like that again, that kind of smooth transition, but this one, Cuckoo Cocoon, doesn't suffer from that transition like I feel Broadway Melody does. Like if you just click Broadway Melody, it sounds weird to listen to.
Yeah.
But this
Yeah.
one actually has a smooth transition where both sides sound normal. I really liked this song.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it too.
The soul guitar with a bit of reverb and the vocal effects on the mic really complement each other. And the tasteful pan flute, just perfect.
Yeah,
Just perfect.
I enjoyed that.
I listened to the song quite a few times.
Really?
I thought it was short and sweet. I like the lyrics. Pretty mellow. It's good. Yeah.
So moving the story along for the listener at home, Rael wakes up in a cave but finds comfort in how it feels like he's been wrapped up before drifting back to sleep,
Wow.
which finds us in the cage. The
Yeah.
next song.
That turn. I don't know. I have a weird that turn fast, turn sour, turn sweat, turn sour verse. Yeah, that felt weird. Yeah.
Oh, he's talking
Yeah.
about the liquid or whatever.
Yeah. That was just that weirded me out. I don't know what it was
I
about
think
it.
you're supposed to feel weird about
Right,
it. Like
probably.
he's locked up in
Yeah.
a weird cage with other people who are also locked up in a weird cage.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird.
You can really hear the keyboard on this one.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first time it like really felt like it was making a solid appearance by
Yeah,
itself.
that little melody he's
Yeah.
playing is really effective.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's like 8 minutes long, but there's a huge solo in the middle that kind of breaks it up and gets you ready for the second half.
Yeah, I liked some parts of the song and disliked others. I think the vocals are, again, pretty great, and the guitar work and the solo around 3:15 is excellent.
Yeah.
But the drum beat really doesn't do it for me most of the song. There's something that's just like a little off, and it seems to like detract from the song instead of adding to the uneasiness
Yeah.
that the synths do.
I agree with you. I think that was intentional.
Yes.
But I didn't like it. I thought
Yeah.
like, I get what you're trying to do, but I'm trying to listen
yeah.
to 8 minutes of a song
It's
here.
like the Nick Hakim album we listened to. There's a lot of things that feel uneasy, but it
yeah.
still works musically. Where some
Yeah.
of these drum beats, I'm like, that just feels offbeat. Like it just
Yeah.
feels wrong. But I will say, it did not feel 8 minutes. It
Sure.
still feels long, but by the time I was getting to the end, I thought it was only like 4 to 5 minutes. So I was surprised it had been 7.
I think it's like Shine On You Crazy Diamond that the
It's
music
supposed to be multiple parts.
the music changes enough
right.
throughout the
Oh,
song that it doesn't feel like one long
Yeah.
song. Yes.
And it's got a spooky outro.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Cool.
very spooky.
It just drops off though. That was my only problem with the outro. Is
It
I
doesn't
don't like.
actually transition.
Yeah, it just drops.
And the next one, the Grand Parade of Lifeless Packaging.
I like the steam whistle.
Yeah, that was neat. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is such a weird
Yeah.
song. It feels very video gamey to me.
Yeah.
The vocals are super hard to understand.
I like the weird vocals,
I do too.
especially when a few more singers come in for the chorus. Particularly because it's on theme of being like a grand parade. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was pretty good.
This won't mean anything to some people, but if you listen to the song and you play like some of the Mario games, there's some instrumentation that feels very similar to some of the songs.
Oh,
It's just like
interesting.
slower.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
okay.
really I like it though.
Rael awakens from his cage in a factory where he sees people being processed like packages, including his brother.
Oh.
His brother has been processed with the number 9 stamped onto his forehead.
Well,
Okay.
the number 9, hey?
Yeah.
I didn't understand what he was really singing about. I thought it was maybe like hating on commercialism
I
and lack
believe
of
it's the rat race.
individualism.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
I
The
think
rat
it's a-
race,
it's a
rat race in
commentary on the
general.
rat
Yeah,
race,
that makes
yeah.
sense. Yeah.
Um,
I liked it though.
I like how it gradually grows in intensity,
Yeah.
and I think the drums are a particular highlight
Yeah,
on this
yeah.
one.
I really like this one.
And the next 2 songs are a flashback.
So you think I'm a tough kid? Is that what you heard?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, back
Yeah.
in New York City.
Back in NYC.
It's another longer song, and I'm not crazy about it at all. I thought the lyrics were meh. The singing was kind of meh. I would cut this whole one, this whole song.
Yeah, there's some setup. You're trying. It's trying to set up Rael as like some like tough kid.
I get it.
Yeah,
I
I
just
like this one.
Really?
I like the like horn-like synths or whatever that main instrument is to open the track. It's really unique, and the slow build up as the track progresses keep
Yeah.
things feeling fresh. I wrote down, I have zero problem with not understanding the story as the lyrics just kind of flow well. So even though I'm not listening to the words, the actual cadence of the words flows quite well, and I'm enjoying just listening to them jam out for a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just kind of was like, yeah, it's good. Just enjoyed listening to it.
dang.
Hairless Heart is an instrumental with its name taken from a lyric in the previous song. He's saying, he's going to shave his heart. Like, I don't know what the
I
metaphor
didn't even
is.
catch that.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the metaphor is.
Yeah,
I think
what's a
it's
hairy
like,
heart? I've never heard of that
I think
in my
that's
life.
like a heavy heart, like someone who's not open to love or
I've
something
never
like that.
heard this in my life.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. I liked it though. I liked the instrumental interlude.
Yeah, I thought it was quite effective. It's interesting that they use instrumentals a couple of times on here to join together two
Yeah.
juxtaposed
I
songs.
don't like any of them.
You don't like any of them?
No.
Okay.
No.
This one feels like a little video game song too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. It's like
I
2
don't know.
minutes long. Yeah.
It just doesn't feel like it needs to be here. But again, it's a long
Hey.
album, so it's just like
There's a lot of
Say two
songs that I didn't think needed to be here.
I think it's just a bridge between back in NYC and Counting Out
Sure.
Time.
which is a lot better.
Counting
I-
Out Time is a funny song
Yeah.
about his first sexual encounter.
Yeah.
it's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has a
The-
really goofy guitar solo.
The beginning and chorus sounds like 21 Guns.
It does somewhat, doesn't it?
I could not get that out of my head as soon as
It sure does.
Right? Da, 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 da.
I hate the goofy guitar section at 2:30.
So the goofy
Oh
guitar
yeah,
section
and
is,
they go yippee and do the uncomfortable sounding
he's
solo.
having sex and it's bad.
Yeah.
he's
It
having
stinks,
he's
though.
having rotten
Yeah.
sex because he instead of asking literally anyone how to do it, he just takes a book out and has
How
a
is
bad time.
How's a book involved?
Because he like reads how
He's
to do
reading.
it. That's why
He's
the
like
scene
reading
drops
a.
off his
Yeah,
thing,
he's like
'cause
reading like
book.
a sex
my
guide in a
God.
book.
I wish they hadn't thought that whole part was a good idea. The rest is good. I actually really like the rest of the song, but I couldn't stand that part.
I enjoyed the silly guitar.
Oh, my God.
It's a very light mood.
Sure.
The song. There's an animated version of this album that someone illustrated for us. It's on YouTube. If you're trying to follow the story, it's easy to listen to the album and watch it at the same time.
Carpet Crawlers.
This is probably my favorite song in the whole album.
This one has the most plays on Spotify by a long shot
like
at
this
all
one.
at almost 14 million.
Yeah, it is the one pre Phil Collins era song that they continually play on.
Really?
tour. Phil Collins does the vocals now. They re-released it in 1999. It's Carpet Crawlers 1999.
I dislike like the first minute, but after that I really did enjoy the rest of it.
I like how it builds in intensity, so at the end he's almost shouting it.
Yeah. I thought the whole thing just reminded me of Joe's apartment. Sounds like
Oh, sure.
Yeah, it sounds like some New York kid living in a garbage apartment and reminded me of Joe's apartment.
So he's in this weird building. He's climbing a staircase. He gets to another part of the story. I like some of the lyrics where it says like Tickler takes his stickle back.
Wow, the tickler.
But what does that mean? But
I
it's
don't
really
know.
it's a really good pun because it's like, instead of a stickleback is a fish,
Yeah.
right? But like the tickler takes his tickle back. What does that mean? Nobody
I don't
knows.
know.
It's funny,
Yeah.
or it's weird.
Yeah.
But I really like the instrumentals on this song. I
Yeah.
really like the intensity of it.
Yeah.
I can see why people like it.
Yeah, it was good.
I should note that I've never listened to this album before we
Really?
did it. I bought this album for the purpose of the podcast. So
What? Dang.
yeah.
That's commitment.
Yeah, it's surprisingly good for how odd and fantastical the lyrics are. I like the chorus's choral singing. Mm-hmm. It's a hard song to describe, but I definitely think it's worth a listen. It ends in a fade out, which is too bad. But otherwise, I do really like this song.
Yeah.
It's fun, swirly,
Yeah.
hypnotic.
I like the urgency of it.
Yeah.
I do like the chorus, how they're all singing in the chorus.
You
That's
gotta
kinda-
get in.
yeah.
to get out.
What does that mean?
That's I've heard that so many times too. That's got to be a famous like you gotta get in to get out or whatever. I've heard
it's really
that so many
effective because
times.
it's one thing I really
Yeah,
remember.
yeah, same, right? Yeah,
yeah.
It brought back memories as I
Yeah.
heard that.
The Chamber of 32 Doors. He gets
Also
to the
good.
top of the staircase.
Wow, the lyrics are okay. I don't know. It's just stereotypical, and the rhyming isn't great on this song. I thought it was kind of meh overall. I would cut Chamber of 32 Doors. This is
What?
also though where I started to get tired of this album. Was around here.
I thought it was interesting. I like how he does the I would rather trust a countryman. I would rather trust he's trying to figure out who the person is that knows the answer to get out of it. And then we find out. It's on the next song.
Yeah, I like this song. It's got some good headbanger choruses that lead into emotional bridges. It's another longer song that like didn't feel long. I was just like, oh, it's over. Cool.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. You get into who solves it to get him out of the the chamber.
Is it Lily White Lilith?
Lily White Lilith, a blind woman.
I like the first 30 seconds, and then it changes quite a bit.
It's just so much. It's like a story dump. I'm like,
Yeah.
I just tuned out.
Yep.
She
I
leads
lost
him out
track.
to a cave. The cave has a throne in it, and he sits
Cool.
on the throne.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's so wild. I was so done
I
with
still,
the story
I
in
still
this
have
song.
no idea what
Yeah.
the idea is.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Peter Gabriel does, because he's giving interviews about this album, and he's just like, I have no idea.
I was on a lot of drugs.
No, Peter Gabriel, famously straight guy.
What?
So,
Really? Sometimes it's the straight edge people that think of the craziest things.
Yeah. The waiting room, which is where he's sitting right now.
There's a lot of weird noises like wind chimes.
Yeah, it's not pleasant and
No.
it's long as hell.
It turns more into music over halfway through.
That's right.
But I would be fully okay with this whole song being cut as well.
Before the lyrics were written, the song was called The Evil Jam, and it was performed completely in darkness, and the band said it was very spooky for
Yep.
them as well.
That sounds about right. Yeah, the evil jam. Nice.
Around 3 minutes, it becomes an actual song instead of just spooky noises.
Yeah. Anyway.
Anyway, I like this song.
Anyway is how I feel getting into the next song after the waiting room.
Anyway is probably my second or third favorite song on this album.
This
I'm not
one,
sure why.
This one's a lot better. I don't like the lyrics at all.
I like the little piano ditty he's playing.
Yeah. Yeah. This and this is where I struggled to figure out whether I was just getting sick of the album or if I didn't like the song, because a lot of my notes are like, I actually really like this one, but I'm getting bored of it very quickly.
Yeah.
So it doesn't help that I know the album is super long and there's still a lot more to go. So it's that was part of why I was frustrated, was because I don't want to judge something just because I'm forced to sit here and make notes on it, because it's a whole different thing, right? If I had listened to this thing just start to finish, I probably would enjoy the whole thing.
Sure.
But when I've got to sit there and like actively listen and make notes about things,
Yes,
it
is
becomes
the difficult part.
It becomes a bit of a struggle.
You really find the things you don't like about something when you
Yeah.
have to critically listen to
Yeah,
it. Which is why
exactly.
music reviews exist.
Yeah.
Yeah. The notes on the story for this one says Rael believes death is coming from, or at least the personification for death.
Rip Rael.
Yeah.
That's kind of fun. I like that. Then the lead up with the piano to this swell at the halfway point. It's got some fun guitar riffing.
Yeah.
It's pretty solid.
I
Pretty
enjoyed
solid.
it. Here comes the supernatural anesthetist.
Pretty much another instrumental interlude.
Yeah, I'd be just make it an interlude, cut the singing at the start, or just cut the whole thing.
Yeah.
This is my favorite of the interludes. But
Really?
It's still just an interlude.
He
So
meets
whatever.
death. This is the song where he meets death.
Yeah, I figured as
And
much.
death doesn't kill him. He goes on. But if death has a cool song like this, he must be a cool guy.
Yeah, supernatural anesthetist.
That's him.
Yeah.
And there you go.
The Lamia.
The Lamia. Okay, so the Lamia is interesting. So here's where I get to use my degree.
Yeah, because the Lamia is a Greek
Oh, don't take this
creature.
from him. Don't take this
mythical
from
creature.
him. Let him do this.
No, I'm letting Jamie. I just wanted to say that
in
one
Greek
thing.
mythology, the Lamia was a daemon who fooled around with Zeus.
Yeah.
And then Hera, Zeus's wife, found out and was angered. And so she transformed the daemon into a child-eating monster that has the appearance of a woman with a snake's body.
Yeah. Isn't that always the story of Hera? She catches Zeus doing something with another woman and then gets her revenge.
Zeus just fools around, like
Everything.
Zeus, does the nasty with a swan.
Yeah.
Like
There's a cow at one point too,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Like, that's why Hercules is actually really Heracles, because it was like
son of
anti-Hera.
Hera.
Yeah.
His name literally means son of Hera.
Oh, I thought she hated him though.
I don't know.
Well, I don't hate the
remember.
piano on this song.
Yeah, the piano is actually quite good on the song. In this song, Rael runs into 3 Lamia who are sitting in a pool, and then they try and eat his flesh and die.
Sick.
At this point, I said I can't take anymore. These dreamy, fantastical lyrics are just too much for me. I don't love Rael, unlike some of the characters in the story, and it's 7 minutes long. The ending solo is cool, though.
Yeah, the ending solo is amazing.
I liked the ending solo.
I liked this song. I like
also like this
the twisting and swirling.
Yeah.
I like it really evokes stuff around the 4-minute mark, and all the instrumentals, or the instruments in this are great, but it just really stands out to me. And there's a lot of feelings in the song, even though I'm not listening to the lyrics at all.
I think I paid too much attention to the lyrics, and I think that's what killed a lot of these last songs for me. 'Cause by the time I got here, I was like, I can't listen to this guy talk about this stuff
Oh,
anymore.
if these were all, like, if this was not a concept album, they were all just songs with different lyrics, I probably wouldn't paying attention and not enjoying it. But because I gave up on this complicated story, I was just like,
I
it's
wish. Oh, man, I wish.
good. Good.
It's pretty good. I really like how the song gets like really heavy around 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Sure, yeah.
The story basically is that he runs into these Lamia who are in this pool in front of him. He's already encountered death. The Lamia try to devour him, but because he's not a child, they immediately die.
Wow, get wrecked.
Which is their curse. I don't know if Peter Gabriel was like a student of the classics as well, but everyone in the band met at university. They were all educated.
I feel like a lot of the time bands from the like prog rock bands specifically have a lot more historical or mythological lyrics.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's because they're all university students doing a bunch of like Bachelor of Arts or writing degrees, but it seems to be a common trope.
I just thought it was interesting that he picked this particular like the Lamia in Greek mythology is very much like
it's a minor creature.
It's a very minor creature.
And that's like us talking now after Greek mythology kind of like became popular for a while and stuff. This is in the 70s. Like you would have had to take a class or like read a bunch of old like maybe not even the Odyssey. What would you have to?
What
would you even have to read?
Are the Lamia in the Odyssey?
I don't think so.
I don't know. You would have to read like various
text.
Yeah.
Sacred texts.
The sacred text. Anyway, somewhere in here, he might have also had sex with one of the Lamia.
Dang.
This becomes important later on in the story. We follow Silent Sorrow in Empty Boats, which is a lyric from the previous song.
I just wrote
as an interlude.
Is Rael dead now? I hope so. That's all I wrote.
I'd put this on repeat and work to it. It's just a little peaceful.
Yeah, it's very pretty. Yeah, it's a pretty song. We now find ourselves in the colony of Slipperman, which is
The Arrival. A Visit to the Doctor?
Yeah.
Raven.
Yeah, which is made up of 3 parts.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's over 8 minutes long.
At the beginning of The Arrival, he makes the note, "I wandered lonely as a cloud," which is a reference to the William Wordsworth poem of the same name, which is about admiring the beauty of nature, which is perhaps signifying a personality change in Rael himself.
Well,
I'm not a huge fan of the intro because it's just weird, dorky sounds.
Yeah, it starts pretty boring.
It feels like, again, something that's kind of out of a video game or a movie. I don't want to listen to his music, though. I also like the gross descriptions of the people he meets.
Yes.
The slime and lumps are cool.
Yeah. Everyone he has encountered has been transformed by the Lamia.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I also like that keyboard solo around 5 minutes.
Yes, also very good. Yes.
Yeah.
The song is long, but overall fine.
All right. Did you want the story? You're going to get it. Anyway, visit to the doctor. The doctor cuts off his wiener.
Wow.
Which is the only way to save him from turning into a lump. See the previous 5 minutes of the song.
Okay.
And then a raven. So the doctor puts his mojo in a jar like Austin Powers. and then the raven takes the mojo away and he chases after the raven.
That's wild. I just rewatched that movie.
The second voice in the second part of the song is Phil Collins. And then we get into Ravine, which is spooky.
Yeah.
It stinks.
I would cut
spooky.
whole sections of this 8-minute song.
It's boring.
Yeah, I think it gets better during some parts, but I would just cut whole parts of it.
In the part of the story, he's chasing after the raven.
Sure.
And his brother John, who is being swept away.
That's cool. Ravine. I wrote one word. Forgettable.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was talking about. This
Yeah.
is boring.
I wrote spooky.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. The light dies down on Broadway. This is
weird.
the only song not written by Peter Gabriel on the song.
And it's just like a redux of the intro song.
Mm-hmm.
I did not need to hear a chiller version of the first song.
I thought this would be the last song. It
Right?
feels like
That's
you
what-
do a redux of the intro and
When-
the outro.
yeah, and I thought, okay, that's a cool bookend, sure. And then it
it
kept
keeps
going
going.
for like 3 more songs, and I was pretty disappointed actually by that.
in the song, Rael spots a window in which he can return to New York, but he finds at the same moment that his brother is drowning below him and must choose between saving him or returning to New York.
This is just killing.
Thank God he saved him because it's him.
Oh no, he gave it away. Gave it away.
No.
And
Riding the scree.
we follow riding the scree. A scree is the small rocks on the side of a mountain.
I was gonna ask. I have no idea what
Riding
it
the
is.
screes.
What a
Thanks,
scree
Skip.
is.
Fine.
Yeah, another almost interlude, but it's 4 minutes long. It's more of a jam session.
Yeah.
Which is very prog rock, but
If you're watching it as a stage, like someone would probably be falling down like the side of a mountain. or
Sure.
something. Like it would be the music and like to watch someone fall down the side of a mountain.
Sure.
Anyway. In the rapids, plot
This
twist.
is where we find out that it's him.
Plot twist.
He saved himself.
He didn't rescue John at all. The face he sees is his own.
wow.
That I did catch because at the end it's like, wait a minute, it's me. I was like, okay, well that's very clear. So
Yeah.
what's happening
I
here?
hated that part.
It's fine.
This
The drums
one-
go hard though.
Yes,
Yeah.
the drums were quite good.
The drums are good. This one's not as bad lyrically otherwise. I think the ending's really weird and I didn't like it, but yeah, this one's okay.
23. It.
The end of the album at long
What is
last.
it? There are 32 descriptions of what it is. And was it the chamber of 32 doors?
Maybe.
Maybe. I don't know. Is it enlightenment?
Maybe.
Has it awakened
Something in me.
something in Rael? Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe it's the lamb.
Maybe
And
it's the clown.
at the end of the song, it references It's Only Rock and Roll by the Rolling Stones,
Wow.
which is a song that had
So
come
that's
out
what it is.
earlier in the year.
It's rock,
rock
and,
and
roll,
roll.
baby.
There you go.
It's not a bad ending. I like the swells and the speed in the song. It's my favorite on this side of that disc.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's a 2 LP.
4 LP?
2 LPs.
Oh, I'm surprised there's only 2.
4. Jeez.
No, it's 4 sides, 2 LPs.
Right.
Yeah, and it's the best of that side of that
Sure.
LP. But
The
that
start-
does not say much.
So I agree with you. So when the album came out, the reviews were kind of polarizing. It wasn't like their previous album, which was quite good. It was their catapult to stardom album. It is their previous album is probably their most well known of the Peter Gabriel era. There's really good guitar solo on 2 or 3 of the songs. The rest of the
Sure.
songs are sort of forgettable. And then the album that follows it, it's also really well reviewed. It has a song called "Dance on a Volcano," which is really good. You should listen to that one. But that's not the one our listeners chose, which is
Sure
unfortunate.
isn't. Yeah.
I like this album. I go 2 ways on it. So, full disclosure, I bought this album because you people chose it.
You people.
And I bought a used first pressing of the album. This is
How
a
much?
Canadian pressing. I paid $18 for
Yeah, I was going to guess 20. That's pretty good.
That was including shipping.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
So it
that's
was
pretty
$6. It's $6 for shipping. So I paid
Good. Nice. 12
I
bucks.
really only paid $12 for this album. And also, I made a note, and I forgot to bring it up at the beginning. This is our 5th album with a cover by our friend Storm Thorgerson.
No,
No
way.
way,
It
that's
doesn't look like a
crazy.
Storm Thurgeson album.
Okay,
though.
we
Well,
need to talk
okay.
about the album because the cover's weird.
It is
Okay.
weird.
I need
yeah.
to see it up close. 'cause
So, do
it's
you remember
very
"Wish You Were
weird.
Here"? The 2 people are shaking
Yeah.
hands, and
course.
they're on fire.
He's shaking his own hand.
He's shaking his own hand.
Can I see it? I actually need to
crazy.
see it up close. It's
Yeah,
hard
go
to.
ahead, go ahead. There's some good stuff on the back too. Peter Gabriel has no mouth on the back.
Yeah, he's doing the Matrix thing.
It is just so weird. I don't like it at all. It's very unsettling.
Our friend Storm Thurgeson did it, and then he did a couple other Genesis albums, and then he does 300 more albums after this because he is probably the most prolific album art
Yeah.
designer.
Yeah.
Did you know he doesn't go to any of the band's concerts and does not listen to the music?
Other than Ween.
Yeah, he went to. Yeah, he only
Right.
went to the Ween
yeah.
one. Yeah. So anyway, Storm Thurgeson, our friend.
He's crazy.
That's our 5th album.
That's wild, actually.
Yeah. How did we do that? I don't
Rest
know.
in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace, Storm. I don't actually know if you're dead or not.
He is
Is he?
dead in 2013.
Oh, cool.
Rip. No more
Prolific.
albums. Yeah.
Anyway, the cover is kind of weird. It's a double gatefold. There's a man who is screaming, pulling another man out of a chair who's pulling a silhouette who's standing next to a seal. Looks like a baby deer. Some other animals walking in a hallway, and all of them are being watched by a guy wearing some very nice Adidas Superstars.
It's the guy. It's the same position as the silhouette. In the
It's a
middle. It's like he's
silhouette.
gotten out of that photo to look at the people in the other photo. It's very
On
weird.
the back is a collage of screaming faces, a man walking through a chamber of 32 doors, more screaming faces, and a guy with no mouth.
That's crazy.
I don't like it.
And then
one
in the
bit.
middle is basically a novel about what you're listening to. More screaming faces, some more waterfalls, another seal. I don't know.
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on. Anyway, the two albums are pressed very nicely. This is actually very thick vinyl for the era.
Yeah.
It's a 1974 pressing. The gatefold was sent to me very nicely. This has obviously been taken very good care of.
Yeah, first pressing. It looks
The
real
guy
good.
sent me those really nice Japanese inner sleeves.
Oh, like the MoFi ones or whatever? Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
These are, what are these? The Naganoka
Yeah.
anti-static sleeves. These
Yeah.
are very nice.
I don't like how they sometimes crinkle when you put them back in, though.
Yeah.
I've got that in my something else that I ordered recently.
And I have the actual inner sleeves that he came, and it has all the lyrics on
Yeah.
it for that particular LP. I have them for both of them, so that's
pretty
quite
cool.
nice. For $12, man, dude, that's a lot of music for $12.
Yeah.
Jeez. What I really appreciate is that it's not one of those double LPs where side one is on the first LP and then side two is on the second LP.
I
per
hate when
side.
they do that. It's for jukeboxes, right?
No, changer record
Yes,
players.
right,
Yes,
right, right,
records
right.
that have a changer spinner.
Yeah,
on them.
I hate that too because I never
The idea
used
would
that.
be that you would put one and then the side two on the spindle with. And anyway, long and
Yeah.
short, you would flip the whole stack over and get the other side.
Yeah, it was. I've only got a couple albums like that, and it's really annoying.
My copy of Frampton Comes Alive is like that.
yeah.
But that was actually common. But
Yep.
the fact that changer records record players have basically stopped existing.
Yeah, because they damage your stuff.
That's debatable.
I mean,
like
sure.
playing the record damages the record.
Sure. Anything mechanical, though, handling it instead of a human is going to like drop it.
Yeah, it drops
heavier
it.
than-
It drops them from like 4 inches.
Yeah.
too. So
like that's what I'm not saying it's going to like wreck it. You can use
Yeah.
it over and over again quite a bit, but it's definitely going to damage it more than just you
Yeah.
handling it yourself.
certainly. So as a package and having paid $18, I think it's a good value. If you can find it fairly cheaply, and if you were interested in the story,
Yeah. Sure.
it as a package of music, it is a decent.
or if you're
value.
very uninterested in the story.
yeah.
Yeah, if
Go
you're
the
very
polar
uninterested
opposite.
into, you
if
might
you're in
actually
between,
not.
you're not going to enjoy this.
Yeah.
But if you really like the story or you don't at all care,
See, the problem is I kind of enjoyed the story. You were kind of indifferent to the story, and he was
I'm trying.
trying. So he fits in the middle period, right? So
did
like
not
he
like
didn't like it,
Yeah.
and then you liked it because you just weren't actively listening
with
to
the
it,
flow.
which is interesting because I don't know why that's interesting. It's just weird.
Yeah.
Jamie.
Anyway, it's another 9 out of 13 from me.
Dang. Rated it
It's
highly.
pretty.
Look
so,
at that. Same level as Prozac.
Yeah. So it's
Two very different albums.
Prozac, Strange Disease, and the Carpet Crawlers are two
So good.
so very good, right?
Sure.
So, there you go. Anyway, that's my take on it. See us next week.
Yeah.
No, we're not even gonna get Plouf's rating, so I'm just gonna poo-poo it.
Yeah. Belle, what'd you like?
I mean, other than the scary album art, I can easily say this is another great classic rock album that we cover here on Vinyl Verdict. Does the album need to be an hour and a half? No, absolutely not. There are a few songs in the second half of the album we can almost certainly do without. But even with a long track list and a few songs over 7 minutes, I think the album is definitely, well, I think the album's worth your time. I can't say I think it's definitely, because that doesn't make sense, but throw it on and listen to it while doing chores around the house, and I bet time will just fly by.
Belle, did you have an opportunity to listen to the 5.1 mix? I heard that's on Apple Music.
Then yes, because
Okay.
that's how I listened.
Yeah, so apparently it sounds really neat.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned the twisting and twirling in the one song there,
Yeah.
because it's like, yeah, it feels pretty darn good to listen to. I like how the album knows when it should slyly grab for your attention or just demand it. So you can take little breaks to rock out before relaxing to like these liminal breaks where it's just like weird little instrumentals before it kind of gets into it. Mm-hmm. I'm obviously going to put it in the comp spot above Hot Show.
Interesting.
I think that
Wow.
there are the highs on this are higher than the highs on Prozac, and although Prozac is shorter and I think consistent, and I do enjoy it, like Cuckoo Cocoon and Carpet Crawlers are both like very, very good, and everything else was just like, I think at worst it's fine, or it's an instrumental that's like whatever. I don't think there's anything that's super offensively bad. If I had to listen to this actively, I don't know if I'd like it as much. Like if I was trying to parse the meaning, but just sitting and listening to it and taking notes, I enjoyed it.
I think it tells a more interesting story than, well, definitely more than Tommy, because I don't really like the story from Tommy at all.
It's another one I didn't really get. Yeah, it's just too much.
I didn't really like. It's more interesting than American Idiot. It has a
Sure.
lot more-
Well,
I don't know.
It's shorter. American Idiot is shorter,
Much shorter.
straightforward.
I don't know.
I hate this small town.
What's her name is not a good song though.
That's wrong, but that's objectively wrong.
Anyway, Mr. Plouffe.
You know, some of it's really good. Some of it's terrible. I think it's like a 5.5 out of 10. I can't handle how long it is. A lot of it didn't need to be there. I'm already not a big fan of rock operas. I think it'd be really cool to see live if they do a really cool live performance, like for this, with like visual stuff to accompany the songs. I think that'd be amazing. Kind of like The Wall. Like, The Wall by itself is okay, but when you watch the movie, it's like so much better.
Yes, this would actually benefit from having
visuals
and
to
that
go
fellow
along
that
with
did
it.
the illustrated version of it is
I'm
actually doing us all of a service on that.
I wish I'd seen that instead of like listening to it on Spotify, because the songs I really liked, really liked them. I thought, Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, great opening track. It got me super hyped for the rest of the album, and then my excitement just completely waned over time. And by the end of it, I was so upset writing this like 5.5 out of 10 score, and I'm gonna stick with it because honestly, I think that some of the songs really aren't that good. I think that the lyrics are kind of intentionally just weird, not always in a good way. I'm not crazy about it at all. I did not. The second half, no bueno, not good. First half is a lot better. I would listen to the first of the 2 LPs. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I guess the interesting thing for the listener at home is that we allow each of us to pick a long album each time.
Yeah.
What was your long album? This is the A$AP Rock album.
Yeah, and even that was only like an hour.
Yeah, that felt long.
Sure, yeah, sure. But at least when I pick a song or an album and you guys don't like it, it's only like 45 minutes to an hour.
And then last season, Bell's long album was Swimming in Circles, and just 2 LPs just joined together.
Yeah, that was also too long. But at least I was able to split that into the 2 albums, basically. And then yours was the live Tommy.
at Leeds. We made the rule because of that album.
Yes.
Because that album is 3 LPs and is it's over 2 hours.
Yeah, that was rough. That was too much.
I mean, I could have picked the single LP version, which I also own, but
that would have been a great idea.
No, I like the whole version.
All right. Even oh my god.
Well, next week is Plouffe's pick. What are you choosing?
I'm going more along Bell's lines here, and I've picked I think 97 or 98 release by Marcy Playground, self-titled Marcy Playground.
Cool.
I'm interested to talk that one.
I don't know who that is. Is that a band or a person?
It's a grunge band.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
This would be like an R&B artist.
Post-rock.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say grunge. Yeah, it's like a post-rock.
Rock is over. We're post-rock.
Yeah, it's kind of hard.
We're in the post-rock period.
That's right.
No,
the 90s. The 90s were
rock
wild.
is dead, baby.
Yeah.
Rock is dead again.
Well, I'm excited to listen. I have no idea what to expect. I don't think I've ever listened to post-rock. Let us know what you thought of the episode. We got a website, vinylverdict.com. Check it out.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.